It's been a busy night. We have continuing coverage of Wednesday night's devastating tornado in Temple. Take a look at this video recorded from a Tesla cam showing those powerful 120-mile-an-hour winds from an EF-2 tornado. It left a path of destruction with multiple homes, buildings, and cars damaged. Take a look at that. Governor Greg Abbott says in a press release President Joe Biden amended a disaster declaration for Texas since it has been hit by severe weather since late April. CBS Austin's Abigail Velez is live in Temple tonight after speaking to a family who looked that EF-2 tornado in the eyes. Abigail, before you tell us what that family went through, you're in the thick of the damage in Temple. Show us around. What does it look like out there?
Well, just yesterday morning, this was a perfectly, completely normal daycare in great condition, and now it's just complete wreckage. You can see I'm actually standing in the thick of it, and right in front of me are these play toys. You can see this administrative cabinet just right in front of me that belonged inside of an office. It's now in the driveway of this daycare center. You can see that there's wood here, there's trees on the side, and this wreckage just goes all the way as far as you can see. It's dark outside, and let me tell you why. Power lines are down throughout the city. You see power crews working so they can repair these power lines, but I spoke to some of them and they say they don't know when they'll be able to repair it. That's how extensive the damage is. Earlier today, I was standing right by a power line that was literally at my feet, and you know that these go feet high. I walked and I drove across this neighborhood where it's very obviously torn through by damage. And this was an EF tornado with winds up to 120 miles per hour. So that can explain the type of damage that we're seeing. We're seeing roofs on the floor. We're seeing busted windows, not just in homes, but cars too. At one point, Walt, I saw a car completely flipped over. And these are people's homes. Some people have lived here upwards of 20 years. All of that history, those memories, it's all really gone. They tell me that they're trying to repair anything that they can. But right now, like you said, well, it's just absolutely devastating. I was really feeling with these people and having these conversations, and they're telling me they don't know when they'll be able to get back on their feet.
Abigail, that Tesla video is terrifying. Now, did you talk to people? It's one thing when you go into an interior room of your house, you get covered up and you just pray and hope that tornado passes over you and you're safe. But I can't imagine facing that in a vehicle or trying to dodge it or outrun it. Now, you talked to some people who faced that.
Walt, I spoke to Gabriel S. Garcia and his son-in-law, Nicholas. They tell me they were driving home as usual yesterday night when they looked in the rearview mirror and they were dead in the face looking at this tornado. Now, they weren't aware that it was a tornado because, of course, it looked like just a pile of debris. It looked like high winds. But when they were able to distance themselves enough, they knew that it was a tornado and they were in the path of danger. So they tell me they had to run up a curb, get to the most closest shelter that they could find because they were really scared for their lives. They had their children in their car. It was a really scary scene, but I'm glad to say they're safe tonight, and they tell me that they're just grateful to God.
Terrifying moments as a tornado touches down in Temple Wednesday night. Evelyn Perez and her neighbors now assessing the damage.
It was pretty scary because we heard things outside hitting the door.
My assistant was the one that Dylan said, "Hey, we're going now." Seconds after we closed the doors when we knew everything was breaking loose.
The tornado left behind a path of destruction from power lines on cars to children's games on the ground from a child care center. This is the door 8 Domino's workers exited from after sheltering in place. Heath Barr is the store's general manager. His immediate thought, how did we even make it?
There's 2x4s and 2x6s sticking out the side of my building. Half of it's gone. It moved my so many 1,000-pound oven from one side of the store to the other.
Temple Mayor Tim Davis says the damage is extensive.
This was a very strong and devastating tornado. There are many people that lost property, many people that lost homes. There were few injured.
First responders have been kept busy responding to a high volume of emergency calls.
And we're blessed to have the professionalism that we have here in Temple. Our folks were prepared.
And we will continue to have additional staff on duty until it is no longer needed.
We did very well here compared to everybody else.
Mel Hicks says he's fortunate to come out of Wednesday night storms with minor damage.
Damage here, the tree, and then quite a bit of deforestation up from the leaves dropping down and branches dropping down, but all of the big trees survived. So we looked out there.
Across town, crews are working to remove tree branches from power lines, while neighbors remove branches and other debris from their yards.
We had a lot of tree damage, a lot of debris, limbs breaking, some trees falling, uprooting.
Belton Police Chief Larry Berg says damage has also been reported to power poles and power lines, causing power outages. High school graduation ceremonies with Belton ISD were canceled today because of those ongoing outages.
A lot of Belton did lose power and is still under the loss of power. That we're working with Encore to get that restored. So we're just hoping for a rapid response so that we can get back to the recovery efforts with power on.
Berg says the city is thankful no injuries have been reported from last night's storms.
We were really blessed with the fact that it was more property damage and more power damage than anything.
Mel Hicks is also grateful the damage here in Belton is minor compared to what happened just 7 miles away in Temple after a tornado swept through the area.
Very, very blessed to have that happen and not have the damage that they've had.
Thank you for watching. Please hit the subscribe button and get the latest news by downloading the CBS Austin News app.